Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the Princetonian of Parlays, Mr. Wilson Kahn. And Wilson, I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it. I think we're joined by the Montana Seahawker, Mr. Adam Emmert. I see something behind the opacity there. Wilson, what are you seeing, bud?
I see a beautiful gradient, all kinds of colors. I feel like I'm at a modern art museum, Adam. This you could you should take a screenshot of this. You could maybe sell it for quite a bit.
I put a lot of time and effort into this look, and it may or may not be me behind the camera here. So I installed a brand new propane heater in the hobo-shack because it's winter and I'm tired of waiting for the wood stove to heat everything up. And it turns out that makes the camera fog up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And we don't have time to wait for it to unfog. So here it is. And this is an improvement for the viewers. Let's not lie.
Yeah, I feel like it's a dating show, but we already know what you look like, but now we're hiding you behind the whole thing. It's something, man. It's something. But hey, maybe with our bets last week, this is like the digital bag over the head. This is kind of what this is, right? So sure. I kind of feel like with our bets last week, I didn't even create a graphic, fellas, because we all took an offer. The old team golden sombrero. We all went 0 for 3 plus the Fail Marys, 0 for 4. And I will say this too. It wasn't like we came out and was like over our heels and over our skis with like Seahawks bets. You know, we had CMC bets, we had Brock Purdy bets. I thought we did A-okay. And then I went back and looked. We had tackling bets, Seahawks tackling bets, and nothing. No, so just like our Seahawks, nothing was working last week for us in our bets. Wilson, don't know if you have anything to add or say about last week, or if it's just time to turn the page.
Yeah, well, I definitely didn't travel up there with my family for the holiday. We missed the flight, thank God. Wow. But no, I think generally we've noticed this over the last 20 something weeks of Seahawks football that we've done this show for. We generally do worse when the Seahawks do worse. And this is for a number of reasons. One, like Clinton was saying, we have to place bets on the opposing team to do well. And we generally don't know the opposing team as well. So those usually, don't go as well as we'd like. The second thing is you're not really supposed to bet against the Seahawks on this show.
Right.
Now, the only real rule with that is you can't bet on the money line and you can't bet on the other team to cover. But really, when I was say we're taking CMC and Purdy to get a lot of yards, we're thinking, okay, the Niners are going to be pretty successful in this game. We're not going to say they're going to win, but we're going to say they'll be pretty successful. But as Seahawks fans, we have a tendency to, one, not want to do that because that's not really the point of the show. And two, we're generally optimistic, I would hope. Maybe not at this point. I'm feeling a little more pessimistic this week, but we're also generally still want to try even avoid those bets, which it just creates a whole sea of problems. And I'm just looking at the spreadsheet here. Basically, since week 8, that's when the Seahawks played their last really good game. We have just been losing money like nobody's business. Basically, hundreds in the red since from week 9 to 12. So hopefully we can turn things around this week, but it's not looking great.
It's been the anti-heater, and we need to end that. And Adam, I think we try to take a pretty fair look at this, but I think Wilson's kind of nailed it. When the Seahawks go down, so do our bets. So how do we fix that, man? Do we just stop being homers, or do our Seahawks play better freaking football?
Well, they would play better football if you guys didn't bet against them on our own Seahawks betting show. This is all your fault. Wilson, you're actually off the hook because you and your family went up there and you balanced your hawker out that way. Clinton, this is on you, buddy. This is for your bets on 49ers players. That's the problem. So really the solution isn't for the Seahawks to, I don't know, maybe do better in penalties or run the football a little bit more. The solution to them turning it around and for us to do better as a whole is for you guys to not bet on the opposing team during this week's show. We'll see if you guys are able to do that, or if you just pulled your knife out like Brutus and Brute and just put it right in somebody's back. Hey, is that what you guys are doing? Yeah.
E2, Adam, E2. So here's the deal. Vegas, I checked DraftKings. I went to the other one, FanDuel. Vegas has this game now at Cowboys giving 9.5 on DraftKings. Cowboys are 5-0 at home this year, haven't lost a home game in a long time, have been beating up on bad teams. You might be like, well, we're not a bad team, but maybe we're not a great team. So we'll see. We shall see. They beat up on Carolina. They beat the pants off of the Commanders 45-10. I think we're a better team. I think we are certainly a better defense than the Commanders put out there, and overall a better team. With that, though, Vegas is predicting like something like 30-20, 27-17. They pretty much are sniffing another blowout. Hopefully not. I think we got to go back to, I think it's Adam, because Adam won 2 weeks ago. We all stunk last week, so I believe Adam just remains on the tee box and gets bet number one.
I got some news. I won 2 weeks ago.
All right. Well, you know what? So here's the thing. Wilson won 2 weeks ago. So we're just going to carry that forward. So Wilson's still on the tee box. Wilson, bet one, down one. Is it a Cowboys bet? What do we got?
Yeah, well, not only am I going to snatch the first bet of the day out of Adam's hands, but I'm also going to do exactly what he said not to do, and I'm going to bet on the Cowboys. After I saw our run defense live and in person last week in all its glory, I'm taking Tony Pollard over 61.5 rushing yards this week at -115. He's only hit that number once all season, but it was last week against the Commanders. And frankly, I don't have any faith in our run defense to be able to hold anyone under 70 yards, including Tony Pollard. So,
well, it'll be interesting because it's kind of a dude who doesn't get the ball maybe as often as the, let's say, the fantasy community thinks he should. I think he got like 13 carries last week or something like that, and like 13 the week before. He doesn't actually get that many touches overall, and he's definitely been a disappointment in the year so far. However, the last 2 weeks has kind of like been his best 2 weeks in a long stretch. He's kind of ascending, so it makes a little sense to, I wouldn't say chase that, but kind of find the groove to say, 62 yards is still not a huge day. It doesn't still feel like a big day for what is a number one back in a good offense. I have a different bet. I'll save that for a second. I got Pollard a couple times going too, but in a different way. Adam, reaction and then your bet, buddy.
I hear you, Wilson, on being unsure about everything with this team right now. It is a little bit of alarming trend here that we've seen over the last few weeks, but to have some integrity, I did not put any Cowboys in my bets because I believe in my team. Now, I set the bar real low, but I definitely am not betting on the Cowboys to succeed. The defense can hold Pollard under 70 yards pretty easily if and only if the offense holds up its side of the bargain and keeps him off the field a little bit, doesn't put him in bad field position the entire game. The offense really stabbed the defense in the back, in my opinion, in last week's game. So,
absolutely.
I
would say good luck with Pollard getting over 60, but I don't mean it because I don't want him to.
Me neither, bud. So what are you doing on your bet? If it's not Pollard going over, it sounds like you might be leaning into the Seahawks to maybe overperform from what Vegas is saying. So what do you got?
No, they're not going to overperform for what Vegas is saying, but I'm going to build that into my bet here. So I've got the Seahawks plus 21.5 and Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals. So I'm betting on the fact that the Seahawks can keep it under 3 touchdowns and that Jason Myers will kick a bunch of field goals because we can't punch it into the end zone. And that gets me plus 122.
Plus 122. Man, what has happened to our team? Like that these bets exist. Plus 21.5, and then field goals, which we're kicking all day anyway, because we can't punch the friggin' ball in the red zone. We're stalling out to get to plus 122. I applaud the mathematics gymnastics you did to get there, and still doing it in a way that is, I guess, positive for our Seahawks. I got a first down bet that actually might be the most positive out of all y'all. So take this, groove on this. I got Tony Pollard under his total yards for receiving and rushing under 85.5 at -115. Now, the real simple reason Wilson stated earlier that he's only broken 61 yards, 62 yards rushing. I think he said once, right? Wilson once the entire year. So yes, and it was last game. Okay. But I looked at the other side of it. Vegas has got him at 61.5 for rushing, and they have him at 19.5 for receiving. So I add those two up and it's 81. But then this bet, I could take the under at 85.5. It's like, well, where'd the magic 4.5 yards go? So if I could take those other two bets that way, I could do the simple math. 4.5 yards, it might not seem like a lot, but when the total is only 80 or 85 percentage wise, that's a pretty big sway to my favor. So I'll take that. I think we can bottle him up a bit. Hopefully we can. Maybe we get burnt by some other players, but hopefully bottle Pollard up and it's not too bad. So under 85.5 total yards, rushing and receiving at -115. Adam, before you go back to your second down bet, what do you think about my mathematics to hopefully, dampen what Pollard can do to our Seahawks?
I do like that you did some little bit of angle finding there, man. Like that's some Sharky kind of stuff there, like a mysterious 4 yards just disappearing there. And you're betting on him to underperform.
Yes.
Stamp of approval. What were the odds on that again?
It's -115, but it was the same -115 if I took the over on that bet. So I'm like, well, there's a magic 4.5 yards on that field. So give me that money.
Yeah, about even odds. I dig it. That's a good first down bet by you, and it almost gets you off the schneid for last week.
Awesome. Wilson, what do you think, dude?
Yeah, I think I would prefer to see yours hit compared to mine.
Well, the nice part is they both can.
Yeah, that would be ideal, but yeah.
Dude could run for 63 yards and still be under that one and be like, hey, if Tony Pollard gets 79 yards total on the day, I'm not crying. That sounds fine. That's okay. He's a number one back on a good offensive team, right? That's a-okay by me. All right, Adam, you are on your second down bet. What do you have, dude?
All righty. So I've got Geno Smith to throw over 175 yards, a low bar, right? Because that's what I'm betting on. And the Seahawks to be under 17.5 points. This offense is broken. The offensive coordinator doesn't get it. They haven't made a change in multiple weeks here. I don't see them doing it here, even though they should. So that's what I'm thinking. So Seahawks under 17.5, Geno over 175 yards passing. That gets me plus 128.
128. Okay, maybe a bit more realistic given it's just a matter of, and Wilson, I'll ask it this way for you. It's like, do we change? Like we scored 16 against the freaking Rams. We scored 13 against the Niners, including a pick 6. Do we make the necessary changes to actually put some points on the board this week and have a semblance of an offense?
No.
I wish.
Short answer, no.
I wish I could argue it. Besides, like wanting it and feeling like I know we can break out, I'm just more mentally and emotionally in the state that I think Adam and Wilson, you're in. It's like, well, how and prove it. It's going to be another good defensive team at home, fired up in prime time. Although, boys, we do have the throwbacks. Are they worth at least 3 points? Maybe, right? We shall see. All right. So that would then flip it back to me. All right. I have a different Pollard second down bet. I like this one. I found this one on FanDuel, and I thought this one was really, kind of intriguing at plus 190. All we got to do here is Pollard 25 yards rushing in each half or more. So, a little bit of a balanced game. You got Vegas saying 61.5 for the game, right? Okay. 25 per half, and I'm cashing at 190. It just seems to me, it's like, what are they thinking? Like Vegas is given, that's a lot of money to give to be 10 yards under, 11.5 yards under what they think the total is going to be. So what are they thinking? Like if they're out in front, well, then Pollard's going to get the ball. And does that just mean it doesn't really touch the ball in the first half? They don't run the ball 6, 7, 8, 9 times in the first half to Pollard. I don't know. It seemed low on both sides. It almost seemed like a trap bet. I'm taking it anyway, but it seems really trappy to me, and I don't know why. Wilson, is this a trap bet? Am I being a dum-dum, or is this an okay bet at plus 190?
I can't put my finger on exactly why it is, but gosh, that feels like a trap, Clinton.
Right.
To be honest.
It does feel that way.
feels like your version of Adam's 3 consecutive scores.
Yeah.
It does feel that way. I don't know why it feels that way either. And it's the math to me. It feels plus 190 feels huge for that bet. So Adam, am I just walking into a trap and handing Vegas $10? I feel like I might be.
Admiral Akbar just called and he says it's a trap. So good luck.
Yeah, I don't. It seemed too juicy not to take, so I took it. So I guess the algorithm and all the mathematics did its job to get me on that one. We shall see. It just seemed a little too juicy. Wilson, are you climbing your bets minus 115 your first bet? Second down, are you going to the positive side?
No, I'm not. And I think the negativity of my odds reflects the negativity of my spirit and my
Oh
vision
man,
when it comes to the
you're
Seahawks
broken,
team.
man. Your whole family took a trip up
I'm
there on
broken.
Thanksgiving,
I'm not
and you
gonna
are
lie.
broken. I hear
I'm
you.
broken.
That
So
game
yeah.
hurt my feelings too. I get it.
So I'm gonna go with Geno under 227.5 passing yards at minus 115. I realize I probably could have done better to parlay some of these like Adam did, but I actually just wasn't really in the mood to pick anything beyond that. Here's the deal. The Seahawks offense is horrible. The Cowboys have allowed the second fewest passing yards of any team in the NFL this year. Now you could say, you look at their schedule, they've already played the Giants twice. They've played the Commanders. They've played some not good teams. We're one of those not good teams right now. You can look at our record and, say what you want. 6-5 is not too bad, but this offense is bottom 6 at least in the league right now. It's completely ineffective. And there's no reason to think that Geno will go over that number.
Yeah, and it was minus, what was that? Say that again.
115 again.
115 again. It's difficult. We're going to a place where the opponent plays really, really well, and it's Thursday night, which is just funky, and you don't even get a full week. You get a couple. Well, we ended up with a full week because we played Thursday,
but sort of not really a full week.
Right, exactly, correct, because they give a couple days off to the players and all that jazz. And it just feels like a funky game coming in here too. I want more and I want us to break out. It's going to be one of those things where I think we're going to have to see it because I feel it's very evident, Adam, to that Wilson's broken. I'm feeling kind of blue and it's not cool throwback blue. So what do you think of that? Do you think, I know you got Geno throttling over 175, but 175 to 227.5 is a big chasm. Do you think Geno has a shot at breaking that?
He has a shot, as he does every single week, but it has to do with whether or not the team sets him up for success. And we talked about it on the flagship show at nauseum. We've talked about it in the post-game reaction show. We've talked about it for the last 3-4 weeks. If you don't run an offense in a way that is a balanced attack that opens up, if they want to be an explosive play team, then you have to do the dirty work to set up the explosive plays. And that is in the run game. And this nonsense that I keep hearing from Waldron and Pete about, well, we got to do more to get to our plays so then we can run the ball. That's bullshit. Catfish! Because you can run the ball on first down. You can run the ball and say, nobody is telling you to not to. I understand situationally every now and then you can't do it, but they have the choice. They won't do it. And when they don't do that, it takes away Geno's biggest asset, which is his play action passing game. And so it makes it difficult to get over, say, 220 odd some yards. And so I'm with Wilson on this because I don't think they're going to make a change. I listened to Waldron's press conference and it was the same damn nonsense.
Well, what was I did not get a chance to listen to it. So what was what's the 30-second snippet or 15-second takeaway? I mean, it's saying it's the same nonsense, but how so?
Mm-hmm. If we just do better on third down, then we'll have more plays, and then therefore we can run the football more. And it's like, look, if you want to put yourself in third and manageable positions, run the ball at least once.
You got to run the ball. Yeah.
And especially when
It's hard.
And one of the things Waldron keeps doing is running a ton of bubbles and little short stuff as an extension of the run game. And it doesn't have the same effect as the physicality of actually running the football. The defense is still playing pass defense. Your offensive line is still pass blocking. So I think if they could, again, they only need to increase their rushing by 4 to 6 attempts a game, and they're right there. They're right there. I think we could all live without a couple deep shots to DK for no catfish. I think we could all live with a few less false starts, short circuited drive. I think we can all live without a few more of those bubble screens. So he doesn't seem to get it. It's not going to change. So I'm with Wilson on the bet. And that's why I set my bar so low on my bet as well for Geno passing yards.
The one piece that I do like for our viewers on YouTube is that as this video goes on, we're starting to see Adam a little bit more. It's quite amazing. He's almost there. I love it. It's like in Fargo somewhere inside a car, and it's almost thawing out. So Encino Man perhaps, but we're almost have a glimpse of Adam. But you coming in crystal clear, and the facts, logic, and reason are certainly there as well. I do want to ask one question before we do get back to the third down bets. What do we know about Abe Lucas? Anything? I know he's practicing. It looks like he ought to play, but has there been anything more definitive that anybody's seen about Big Abe? And if he's playing healthy, does that change any? Let's go that route. Wilson, let's say Abe Lucas is out there and he's healthy. Do you start to feel a little bit better, or is it still a broken machine?
I mean, maybe, but Waldron's still the one calling the plays. So
yeah,
if Abe Lucas is healthy and he still decides he doesn't want to run the ball, it doesn't really matter. That being said, he's probably an upgrade over geriatric Jason at right tackle there. So.
Oh, and then Forsyth, who couldn't do it. I mean, it's not Forsyth's fault. You go in there.
I don't want to see him on the field anymore, to be honest.
I know, but you leave him on an island versus Bosa, and good luck. I mean, you get what you get, So it's just interesting. So, Adam, any take on Abe Lucas? Do we know about that yet? Has there been any new news that you've seen?
I don't think there's been any old knee updates, and that is super frustrating. I do think, though, if he does come back, there's anything that tells you, if you're Shane Waldron, like, hey, maybe we could run the ball just a bit more, because now the right side of the offensive line is solidified as well. It would be Abe Lucas's return. Be great to have him back. He's maybe my favorite Seahawk. So we'll see, I guess, but I'm not optimistic either.
Just checking the old Twitter machine here. Brady Henderson has Pete Carroll's mom on players' game statuses, but it sounds like right tackle Abe Lucas has a good chance to play Thursday versus Dallas. In quotes, Abe had a good week. Everything is kind of on schedule as we kind of planned it out for quite some time ago, aiming for this week, and he did his part, end quote. Okay, he did his part. Tomorrow's a walkthrough, right? The day before. So they'll just do a walkthrough tomorrow in pads or whatever they do in shorts. So it looks like we may get Abe Lucas back. I hope that can just be the start of a domino that says, oh, with Abe Lucas, let's run the ball. Let's do some power running to the right-hand side. That would be super cool to kind of tilt that back that way. All right. A little bit of a segue there, but I think a worthy one. I believe we got through two downs totally, I believe, right? So I think I'm up on third down. And for the third down bet, I know that I'm losing on the year. And so this is gambling within gambling, people. So we're competing against each other to be the PNW Prop Star Champion of the Year. And number one, I have not won a lot of weeks. And number two, I am the biggest loser so far. So I got to start taking a little bit more risk on third downs because it's worked so well so far. I look at it this way. Seahawks to win money line is about plus 350. I know it seems like a long shot, and it is. Vegas is saying, yeah, good luck. Now, what if I were to tell you if I take Seattle to win, but trailing at some point? So just coming from behind doesn't mean they have to be trailing at the last second and kick a field goal and Myers, makes one this time. It just means at some point in the game, the Cowboys are leading, yet Seattle wins the game. And I could juice that up to plus 475. So I'm taking Seattle to win with some form of a comeback victory at plus 475, mainly because I need to catch up. Adam, we can almost see your lips. What do you think about my desperation? Near fail Mary, but on third down.
Hey man, if you want to win big chips, you got to bet big. So I'm with you. I'm with you. And there is a possibility that the Seahawks do come out and actually take that loss from last week personal, and the energy is different and the philosophy changes just slightly because it doesn't need to be a huge change. And the choke artist Cowboys end up choking one away late. It happens. It happens. Plus 475 is healthy. I do think the Seahawks will trail at some point in the game. So that part of it I like. Yeah. I mean, you're going to need to do something because you're getting boat raced.
I sure am. And Wilson, Adams appearing before our eyes. He's aging. And you have the Interstellar poster behind you. It's like McConaughey checking in on his kids, and the daughter doesn't want to talk to him, and the daughter,
Yeah.
then she's old, and then I won't ruin it for those that haven't seen it, but I know you're a fan. So
I'm about to push a book. I'm about to push a book.
Yeah. All right. So that's the third down. It does go back to the top, and that's Wilson. So Wilson, what's your third down bet, bud?
Well, I think we're switching strategies this week, Clinton. I'm pretty much sticking around 100 odds, whether it be, minus 115 or where I'm going on third down here, which is plus 100. The Cowboys don't score on their first drive. This is a Seahawks optimistic bet because despite allowing 31 points, I liked what I saw out of the defense last week. I think, like we were saying earlier, they pretty much got screwed and put in horrible positions by the offense all game. And they showed a lot of fight. They showed a lot of pride, I think, in that game, especially guys like Spoon, who, after seeing that, is probably one of my favorite Seahawks now. And I don't think they're going to come out and get run over right away. It might happen later in the game just because they'll get screwed over again. But out of the gate, whether it's it's going to be the first defensive possession regardless. So they're going to be, ready to go. I like this defense to start the game somewhat strongly. So I'm going to take that plus 100.
They did it against some other good teams, not last week against the Niners, which deferring to Shanahan, I hated it. I hated it the moment they deferred, knowing how good of a script writer Shanahan is. And then lo and behold, right down the field and they score. So we'll see. I know that our policy is basically to defer. That's probably what we're going to do if we win the coin toss again. But I like it. I like it because of the two sides of the ball. I'm 100% with you. And I think, Adam, you talked about it quite a bit on the flagship show that, look, there's some really big fish to fry, but the defense, it ain't the defense.
Yeah, there's problems there. The tackling isn't good,
Sure.
But, if you're looking to solve the problems of this football team, to me, I always focus on the biggest problem first and start there rather than trying to fix a bunch of little stuff. And yeah, the defense, not the main problem. And, Wilson, history kind of suggests that this could be good for you because the Seahawks have almost the entire year short of the 49ers game, at least played one half of good football in every single game, even the losses. And more often than not, that good half has been the first half. So if you're going to bet on anything good, that's a smart bet there.
Nice compliment from the gentleman. He's
coming into view.
I can see that as I was trying to clean the lens and everything, the zoom is way far in. I couldn't tell. I'm sure I'm still like marshmallow focus, but hi guys, made it.
That's great. You know what it looks like too? It looks like a video from let's call it like a 1999 like Motorola flip phone. Like the very first videos you possibly could take.
This looks like a 1987 J.C. Penney's studio portrait with a soft focus filter. That's what this looks like.
Love it. All right, so Adam, you're up on your third down bet. What do you got, dude?
Alrighty, I got JSN to go over 3.5 receptions. And the main reason that I'm taking that half of this bet is we continue to feed him on the bubbles, and he's bound to get 1 or 2 catches in the regular passing game. He's been coming on throughout the season, and you have to give him credit for that. And I didn't go with yards because you can have 4 or 5 receptions and still end up with like 7 yards if things don't go right, especially if you're running a bunch of bubbles. So I decided to go with receptions, so over 3.5 for JSN. And then about the only other thing that I'm sure about with this Seahawks team is that they cannot score in the red zone. So throw Jason Myers in again at over 1.5. And that gets me to shy of a Wilson 300 at plus 228.
Plus 228. Okay. Double dipping with Myers there. And why not already? Except for the fact that he has been missing some field goals, but still 1.5 is not a lot. I
Are
wouldn't
they
mind. I
chip
think
shots or are
right,
they
exactly.
Yeah.
a little bit longer? Yeah.
Within the 40s, he's golden.
Well,
you
that's
know.
just about as close as we can get to the end zone. So
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right in his Q zone. So the thing with the JSN piece too is last game we actually didn't do a bunch of the bubbles. Like 2 weeks ago we did, and they were pretty effective. And then we kind of went away from that. It's like, well, I would have liked to see some of that versus like you talked about the deep shots, just continuous deep shots down the field to DK that just not that they weren't there, just they weren't executed. They might have been there, but feet not in bounds, ball a little overthrown, et cetera, and low percentage, just very low percentage. Can we dial up the percentage plays a little bit? If we do, I think JSN has a really good shot of going between 4 to 6 receptions, and you get to smash that part if Myers can hold up his end of the bargain. All right, we are up on our fail. Mary Wilson, that means back to you at the box. Must be plus 1,200 or longer odds to qualify. It's only the $1, the Sunday rubber, the Sunday scratcher. Where are you placing your $1 American this week, Wilson?
well, sometimes on these I like to cook up some pretty elaborate parlays, and well, I hit a couple of those earlier in the season. I'm again, as I was saying, I'm not in a parlay mood this week, but
Mm-hmm.
I still have the slightest glimmer of hope that our Seahawks can at least have the game be tied at the end of regulation, which is why I'm saying overtime this week. I don't know if they'll win in overtime, but I'm taking overtime at 1,500.
1,500. Okay. I think I took that last week. I'm pretty sure that was my fail Mary last week. And yeah, that wasn't close, but that is it is what it is. It is only $1. That means Adam, fail Mary time. Where are you hucking it?
I'm right with Wilson on this one. I didn't want to put any effort to Phil Murray with some other convoluted deal. And, if the Seahawks can unlock their potential, they can play this Cowboys team close. So, yes, overtime. I took that as well at plus 1,500.
Okay. So I took overtime. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I went somewhere. I went somewhere else in my fail Mary. I do like on this again. This is FanDuel where they just give you these like, hey, 500 to 900, and then 1,000 to whatever. Like these little bands where you can just go find some quick hitting big play bets. And this is one of them that was already sitting there. A touchdown and field goal for each team in each half. Okay. At least 20, that's plus 2,500. So one touchdown, one field goal or more for each team in each half, plus 2,500. That does mean, if we're doing the math, that Seattle scores at least 18 points, because that could be two missed extra points.
Right.
Which just that alone is putting us over our Vegas over. But what Vegas is saying, the Seahawks will get us an over, but plus 2,500 is very, very spicy. So a boy can dream. We could hope. Hey, Adam, as you're coming out of the fog there, why don't you tell the good people if they're getting some value, if they're liking this or any of the shows we put out on the Seahawkers Podcast Network, what could and should they be doing to raise the Hawkra?
Sure. Well, we work on the value for value model. We talk about it all the time. If we provide some value for you, like, if you can, be sweet if you kick back a little bit. And I think especially these last couple of weeks, continuing to put out 5 shows a week through some very depressing losses. Let me tell you something. I'm just like Wilson. That's not fun. It's hard to get fired up. It's hard to want to talk about the Seahawks for 4 hours a week live on air. And it's something that we're going to continue to do with you guys because we're a big fan of this team. And we are committed to you guys as well. So if that value is speaking to you, if you'd hit subscribe, that'd be cool. A little like ski would be cool. If you want to kick us a couple bucks, get in the flock, we'd appreciate that too. So it's up to you though. No pressure. Don't feel guilty at all if you just freeload.
Yeah, we're not recording this on Giving Tuesday or anything like that. It's not the time of year for any of those things, right? So, and getintheflock.com, if you do want to become a member of the flock and make that monetary donation, it's great. But it also comes with perks. You get to hang out in the Discord, you get access to the Facebook Ring of Honor potentially, and it's a lot of fun. And with all that, guys, it's fun. The word is fun. Right. This team has not been fun for at least 2 weeks now, at least. The Commanders game was mild fun. Yeah, we won. So winning is fun. And there was patches of fun, right? Patches of Houlihan style. The Rams game was fun for a half, and then we just at 13-0 was fun. We need to get back to some fun. And to do so, we've got to reestablish or find a friggin' identity in 2023. The part for me that's like Waldron ought to go is that last year with a team in seemingly more tumult, we had an identity. We found something, and we found something, and we were pretty darn good at it. We have yet to do that this year. So it's not over. It ain't over. We're still 6-5, and the likes of the freaking Bears pulling off the unlikely victory against the Vikings last night, that helps us. So we are still smack dab in the middle of this playoff hunt. The NFL season is longer than it appears, and there are more nooks and crannies and twists and turns in an NFL year than people remember when you're in the middle of it. And we're in the middle of it right now. So let's turn that dial back up to some fun, maybe march down to Jerry World and get the heck out of there with a surprising W and just flip the script on the whole NFL. So boys, with that,
There's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Boom! Seahawks can't run the football. They can't win anything, but we can nail that.